You look me in the eye, I look you in the eye. We know how to do this.
Всем привет, это Денис Михайлов, фруктоед.ком. Я на Всемирном фруктовом фестивале здесь, в горах Нью-Йорка. Второй раз он проводится за всю историю. Феноменальное событие. И один из главных героев его, доктор Грэм. Все его прекрасно знаете. Автор многих книг, в том числе 80-10-10, 80-10-10, о правильном питании, о фруктоедении, о здоровом образе жизни. Dr. Gрэм, thanks a lot for speaking with one of the Russian raw foodies.
Gosh, it's fun. This is great. It's fantastic. It's really fantastic. I'm excited to be here.
Great. The setup here is perfect for the raw foodists, so it's really inspiring to give some motivation to other people. And I've had some questions from other people in my home country, in Russia, where people try to get into the raw foods, and they're not quite sure how to go about it, how to start, because it's really not in the culture. There's big meat eating history, but for people who start to realize the benefits of the raw food, fruit-based diet, what would you suggest them? How should they start in this kind of environment where it's not very friendly towards them?
You know, I think it's a very funny thing. In every society, in every family, in every business, in every adventure, somebody has to go first. There's no culture where eating raw foods is a big part of the culture, but in some cultures it's catching on. There's no place where it's summer all the time. It's winter everywhere once in a while. I mean, here it's winter, cold winter here. But in the summer it's glorious, and in the winter we eat indoors. Somebody's got to go first is really the ticket. Somebody has to lead. Somebody has to go, I'm catching on to an idea that isn't a diet. Okay, because people go on diets and they go off diets after a while. This is not a diet. 80-10-10 is a food style. And this means that when they find something that they like, they stick with it. It's a new way of eating that you can use year-round. And fortunately, we live in times where you can actually get fruits and vegetables year-round. We live in heated houses where even in the middle of the coldest winter day, it's nice and warm inside your house. So there are strategies for eating in cold weather, but first, in terms of the mindset, the idea is to eat enough fruit so that you're satisfied. It's not just a snack. We're not trying to live on nothing. We actually eat more volume of food, which everybody likes more volume. So I think the initial strategy is to realize that if this is even beginning to make sense, that it's worth doing the experiment and see if you feel better. If you feel better eating 80-10-10, a diet where you eat all the fruit you want and all the vegetables you care for in their whole fresh state, that you can keep doing it. If you're feeling better, of course you'll keep doing it. If you give it a year, or you give it an experiment, or you give it a season, and you go, I really tried my best. I ate fruit and fruit and fruit and fruit. I ate vegetables and vegetables and vegetables. I ate all I wanted. And you don't think it's the most fantastic program in the world, you can go back to your other one. But in your head, to imagine what it's like will never work. You actually have to feel it.
And what about the social pressure, when people don't feel understood, when they share their ideas with others who are just too rigid in their mindset about the way they eat?
Certainly we can always feel social pressure, or we can just choose to be a leader. Leaders feel pressure all the time. They're out in front. The pressure is to snap back. It's like pulling a rubber band. But the leaders lead. And somebody's got to go first. I'm not trying to convince anybody to eat the way that I eat. That would be very difficult. Instead, I'm going to show them that I eat this way. I don't keep it a secret. I'm going to let them see that I'm thriving. I feel fantastic all the time. Lots of energy, lots of enthusiasm, clear thinking, good strength, good health. And then if they want that, they'll come to me and ask. But if you want to get into fights with your family about how they should eat, you're going to feel a lot of pressure. You don't have to convince anybody. Show them. Show them. Besides, if it's relatively new to you, wait until you've succeeded for a few years. You won't even have to say anything, because everybody wants health. Everybody wants good weight management. Everybody wants the energy. Everybody wants clear thinking. Everybody wants to feel better than they do. And if you show them how, they'll do it too. But if you try to force it down their throat, they'll choke on it. So rather than be so worried about what everybody else does, I recommend people pay attention to what they do and just lead.
Great tips. In Russia, having the lack of direction with this new way of eating, which is actually old way of eating, we're just rediscovering, and many people get confused and they see fruitarianism as just another step on the way to eliminating consuming food at all. They see it as just getting rid of the junk food, and then of the meat products, and then of everything else towards the sunshine. And they think it's a road to breatharianism, and that's the ultimate goal where humans should evolve, living on prana or the sunshine, whatever they call it. Yeah. What's your take on this? Because many people really see it as in-between state, the fruitarianism.
I'm not an advocate of breatharianism in any way, shape, or form, although out of 24 hours a day, I only eat for, 15 minutes or a half an hour. So most of the time, I'm not eating. Does that make me mostly breatharian? No, not even close. We're funny human beings because we always look and we say, well, if a little is good, more is better. But this isn't true with poison. Sometimes there are places where the logical end point has to be the end point. And the logical end point demonstrated to us in nature is that animals eat. Animals eat their species-specific diet. They eat the food that's designed for them. And the squirrels eat what squirrels eat, and the deer eat what deer eat, and the fish eat what fish eat. And human beings are designated fruit eaters. From when we see it, when we taste it, when we hold it in our hands, fruit is perfect for us. And going to breatharian is death. I mean, when you're not eating, you're dying. You must. We're programmed to eat. We're designed to eat. We have teeth and digestive system that's structured to eat. And yes, we do get a little something from the sun that is important, even nutrients. But that is not supposed to be our food. We are, by nature, seed spreaders. Okay? And in order to spread seed, we do this two ways. We eat fruit and then we pitch it, or we eat the seeds and then the next day they come back out of our system in a fertile mass.
Perfect.
Okay? And we spread the seed, because by then we're someplace else. So we are seed spreaders. This is part of our biologic cooperative role in society. And I don't see going to not eating. In fact, nature set up a very simple plan for us that's easy to follow. Every biologic function that is important to our well-being is pleasurable. And eating fruits is very much a pleasure.
Oh, we've had a lot of this kind of pleasure over the last 7 days.
Very much a pleasure. And so whether it's a good night's sleep or playing with friends and doing fitness things or learning things or growing things or eating or all of the things that are important to us, human touch, is always a pleasure. And it's set up that way so that we'll do it. This creates survival of the species. And so we are designed to eat food, and I in no way endorse breatharian.
Great. Thank you. And the final question is, many people waiting for a long time already for officially translated book 80-10-10. There are bits and pieces on the internet where people just can't hold it anymore. They just translate little paragraphs on their own and just send to friends, just so that, who don't know English.
I'm so excited that the popularity and the desire is there, the demand is there. We've been contacted recently by someone who wishes to translate the entire book into Russian. We're making the adjustments in our home office to be able to offer ebooks online in a wide variety of languages. I'm really expecting in 2013 to release at least a dozen different languages into the world community for 80-10-10, and Russian is among them. So although I can't tell you a date, I can tell you we are working on it, and I expect a Russian translation soon. I'm looking forward to that. Until then, the idea is to eat as much fruit as you want so you have no cravings at all. If you're craving sweets, you're not eating enough fruit. If you're craving desserts, you're not having enough fruit. If you're looking at bread, pasta, rice, corn, potatoes as if it was food, you're not eating enough fruit. If you're looking at nuts and seeds as if you want to eat a pound of that at a time, you're not eating enough fruit. If you want something salty and you'd kill for something salty, you're not eating enough vegetables. 80-10-10 has no cravings to overcome. You simply don't experience them if you're eating enough fruit and enough vegetables. If it's cold where you live, well, keep your fruit out on the counter. We live in England. It's fairly cold all the time. Yes, we have a bit of summer, but not much. Winter is cold and wet, and we put no fruit in the refrigerator. Nothing fruit goes in the refrigerator. Fruit stays out on counters. I'll put it on top of the refrigerator where it's a little warm, even if I'm getting ready to eat it, so that it's not room temperature, but a little bit more. There are many strategies for ever so slightly warming food to make it an enjoyment, bringing it close to your own temperature. But in reality, as long as you're eating indoors in Russia, you might as well be eating indoors in Rio de Janeiro. I mean, it's not that cold indoors.
Great. Thank you very much.
It's totally my pleasure, and I look forward to the Russian translation, to seeing you at the next Woodstock Fruit Festival.
I'll be there.
And to meeting all my friends in Russia. Na здоровье.
Na zdrowie.
Na здоровье. That's life.
This is health.
Sweet and juicy. Go to health.